This video looks at adding and subtracting decimal numbers. So very simply, the learning intention is how to add and subtract decimal numbers without a calculator. Okay, so let's have a look at some examples to go through here. Now, it might be useful if you can find a piece of paper and a pen or a pencil to help you write down some of these to practice them, and you will definitely need some paper and a pen today to do your work in. So we have some decimal numbers here in question number 1, 0.63 and 0.76. And the most important thing when you're adding or subtracting any decimal number is that the decimal point never moves, so it stays in the same position. So if you have two decimal numbers, it might be worthwhile to start off putting in one above each other, since we're going to use a up and down or a chimney method to add these one underneath each other. So the first decimal number I have in my question is 0.63. So I'm going to write that one down first. So I've got 0, and then straight away the point, and then 63. And then the second number is 0.76. And you can see that then I've lined those up, and the decimal point is not moving. And I'm going to add those. So I can then put in some lines to have my final answer. So I'm doing 3 add 6, which is 9. And then I want to add 6 and 7. Now 6 and 7 comes to 13. So I've got 1 to carry. So I'm going to put my units here with 3, and the 1 from the tens is going to then go into the next column. Now there's different places you can put this. So you could put it down in here, you could put it up here, or you could put it down underneath here. But the thing to remember is that it's there, and don't forget. So we've got 0, add 0, 0, and then 1. So the answer is 1.39. Okay, let's have a look at another example. Again, so it's take away, but again, the decimals stay in the same place. I've got two numbers, so one above each other for the decimals. The number that comes first is going on the top, so that's 7.82. And then the second number is going underneath on the bottom, subtracting 4.03. Okay, and then I'm going to put some lines in for my final answer. So this time I'm subtracting, so I'm going to start again over here on the right hand side at the top, and I want to do 2 take away 3. Now I'm going to end up with a negative number for that, so rather than end up with a negative, what I should be doing is go in next door into the tenths column, and what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take a tenth from here. So I'm going to score that 8 out and leave that with only 7 tenths, and I'm going to put my tenth over there. So I've got 12 take away 3, which can be done, and that gives me 9. And then up here I've got 7 take away nothing, which is just 7. And then in the last one I've got 7 take away 4, which is 3. So I've got my final answer here. So pen and paper, that's your process. Okay. Right, let's have a little look at what you might see on Mathspace. So Mathspace is set up slightly differently. Just ignore this here, that's just the cursor, so that's not a 1, just ignore that just now. So here's the question, evaluate. And evaluate just means find a value for, find the answer to 0.46, add 0.89. Now, just ignore those boxes for just now. You can see here, there's the first number, 0.46, and underneath it's set up like there's decimals in line 0.89. So the first part of the question is 6 add 9. Now that comes to 15, so I'm going to put my 5 in here. And then I want to carry that 1 over. Now there's no space to put the 1 here, there's no space to put it here, so that's what this box is for. So it wants you to carry that 1 up into that box, so you can type that into there. And then you're adding 1 and 4, well that's 5, and another 8, that's 13. So again, I'm going to put my 3 in here, and then I'm going to put my 1, I'm carrying up in this box. So I've got 1 add 0, which is 1, and that's how Mathspace wants you to set it out. Okay, so that's what these boxes are up the top for, they're for your carryovers. Okay, let's have a look at a subtraction. So again, it says evaluate, this time it's 5.86, take away 2.58. Now, What there's not space for here is for you to say that you're going to take from the tenths column. If I look here, I've got 6 take away 8. Now I need to take one from this tenths column, but there's nowhere for you to do that work in. So in Mathspace, there's a little button just up above where you're answering. And if I just draw it here, because I don't have a copy of it, it is a little square button and it's got a squiggle in it like that. And that means if you click on that, it gives you a space to do working on. So if you don't have a pen and paper, you can use that space to do some work in, and then you can go back and enter in your answer. If you've got pen and paper, then I would encourage you to write down the question, which means that then you can do your scoring out for your work in. So if I come over onto my sketch pad or onto my piece of pen and paper, I'm going to take out the 8, make that 7, because I'm going to take over one of those tenths, make that 16 take away 8, which is 8, 7 take away 5, which is 2, decimal stays there, 5 take away 2 is 3. So then I can put in my final answer onto Mathspace once I've done my working. Okay, so any other questions, please just let me know.